Yo, what's going on, guys? I have no idea if this is live right now, so yeah, we're just going to see what happens, really. For those who don't know, I'm Reese. I operate STOIC Pool, and I don't know how long it takes to actually show these things up. I just assume that we're live right now, right? It says we're live. Surely that means we're live. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so what we're doing right here is I managed to get the camera working on OBS. So I figured now, after last week's catastrophe with a lack of live stream ability for my YouTube channel, I figured, like, now I've got it working today, let's give it a go. But, oh, there you go. Now it shows me as being live. So cool. So basically, I have nothing to do in this video. I don't have a plan. I have literally no idea what's going on. I don't know if the audio's right. I have no idea. We're just going to make sure it's alive because I can't tell. Cool. Let me just share this on Twitter. So basically, bam. So basically, there's a couple of things that I might touch on in this live stream. One is what the stake pool's up to. Another one is not. It's something different. It might be like setting up the Raspberry Pi, for example. But what I do actually have is I have a lot of unanswered questions in the comments section of STOIC's YouTube channel. So we're going to go right there now. Let me just, bam. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to zoom in here. You know what? I'm just going to full screenize it. So hopefully you guys can see this all right. And the thing with YouTube comments is when you only get a handful, it's super easy to deal with. But when you get a bunch, it is very, very difficult to keep a handle on. Now, there are a couple of things that I generally get comments about. And one of them is uphold. Uphold doesn't let you transfer his airdrop. Like, because of this, I did an entire video. And everyone, literally, like, every couple of days, I get a comment like, I wish I had this video before I purchased my ADA on Uphold. And I get it. It is incredibly frustrating. The next thing is these spam comments. That is definitely the most common thing I get. I'm going to report that now. And this is huge. There's so many of these things. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Unwanted spam, I guess. Report. But yeah, so the main thing that I wanted to talk about, because it's quite relevant to smart contracts, is a comment that I actually got earlier, like in the last couple of days, which is about, this one's really interesting. What's the governing law of this contract? I get that Marlowe allows one to build out the logic of a smart contract, but what law does it come under, basically? And I have no idea. All right, I made this video probably about a year ago. The video is terrible. I recorded it on my phone. Like, because I was trying to show people stuff that was on the screen, I basically had to keep moving my head around the screen, and oh my god, I get so much hate about that thing. It's hilarious. But you know, like, it's just funny. It's just one of those funny things that happens, you know, and that's going to stick with me forever, because this first building a smart contract example that I did was is a really popular video. This is one of my most popular videos. But I don't know what the governing law of these contracts is. I think the idea of these contracts is that they don't operate within any particular law, like, per se. You could definitely take one of these things to court if something was a problem, because why wouldn't you be able to? Like a small claims court or something like that, I imagine. I'm not a lawyer, like, I don't have a clue about this kind of thing. But, you know, like, the idea of them is that they are immutable and they can't be manipulated. And so this kind of leads me on to the big issue that people have with the smart contracts examples I've put on, because they basically require some kind of input from the outside world. And it's not necessarily like an oracle, like Chainlink, for example. It's more of like because they're peer-to-peer contracts, it's more of a people communicating and agreeing on something like an observation in the contract. Either it's happening or it isn't happening. Like, did you guys meet up? Did you do the training thing? Or did you not? Like, did the guy in my part 2, my second example, which I did here, was more about kind of landlords and tenants and that kind of the contract between them for the deposit of renting a flat or any kind of property. To be honest, it doesn't need to be a flat, but it's in. I live in London, so everything's flats. All right, sorry about that. So that's basically where they came from. But the observations are people having to decide on something, and because it's very easy for once people can choose, people can cheat a system. It's very, very easy to do. And what people generally asked was like, how are people gonna interact with the smart contracts? Basically, how are people gonna submit information, like whether or not this happened, whether it didn't happen, how will that work? And so I did a video, which, I mean, no one seems to see this video, to be honest with you, and I have no idea where it is because I wasn't at all prepared for this, as I've already demonstrated. Sorry. But around, is this it? UX. Okay, so I don't have the actual project because I did it on my laptop, which lives here. I don't know if you can see that. You definitely can't see it. And I now use this big crazy computer that I bought. So I don't have the project, but what we can do is we can just have a quick look at it. And I basically did a mock-up of an app. And in this mock-up, it was on XD. Let's just pull up XD. So it's something like this. You know, you get like wireframes of stuff. I'm just going to zoom in. And I basically like just designed an app because in one of the Cardano 360 videos, the guys were talking about an app that would need to be developed so that people could interact or deploy peer-to-peer smart contracts, like the whole purpose of Marlow. And so I saw that and I was like, everyone's asking me about this stuff. I'm going to do that video. So I did. And what that entails is essentially like a double sign. So instead of for data to be submitted to the smart contract. So let's just imagine you've come to see me and we're doing some training together because outside of this STOIC Pool thing, I PT. So imagine we're doing that and you turn up to a training session and we need to mark that training session off as attended. You know, so you agree that you attended the PT session. I agree that we were present and we trained. And that's not the only option. You know, I might not turn up. You might not turn up. The training session, so the training session won't happen. Or, on the other hand, the training session might get cancelled or rescheduled. So there are essentially, boil it down for simplicity's sake, 3 options. And with those 3 options, you have to input the right data to prove that something either happened or didn't. This is where it gets complicated because there needs to be that data submitted to the chain, but it needs to come from both parties because otherwise, how do you know that it's true? So the solution that I came up with was basically, it is based on, wait there a second. Now, I don't know if other hardware wallets do this, but I have a hardware wallet here called a Kobo. And a Kobo, there's like a new version of it called like a key something. I don't know because I don't really keep up with anything other than Cardano, I'll be honest, and AGI. But Kobo have this product called a Kobo Vault. And it basically looks like an old iPhone. So you see that? Looks like an old iPhone. And what this does is it double signs transactions. So I've got the app, which, and this is like the key that signs any transactions. That's what holds the private keys essentially. And the way that the user, the way someone uses this is, say they want to send some, whatever, just say Bitcoin. Someone wants to send some Bitcoin from on their Kobo, their kind of cold storage, to a real device. And what you do is in your app, you go, right, I'm going to send it over here on your phone. And then you sign it with this. So I basically took that concept, because it can't just be Kobo who can do that, right? That's got to be a thing. And I applied that then to Marlow smart contracts. So the solution was that if someone is going to make an observation, like something happens in the smart contract, then it needs to be signed by both parties. So one person will instigate, like offer a decision, what happened, and they'll say to the other party, look, here's my phone. Let's just confirm our attendance. Open up the Marlowe app, like whatever that looks like. The one that I designed was not particularly elegant. Here's my QR code, scan this, and then that'll create the data submission. So I'll go, oh yeah, he attended, and then here's a QR, and then you sign the QR, so you confirm an attendance, and then I sign your QR to confirm that I agree with that. Yeah, and then that way you have a double sign of a transaction, not a transaction, but you have a double sign of an observation, which will basically make an agreement. It will just prove in the contract that both of you were present for that decision, and so that a decision was agreed upon. And that would essentially prevent any of the need for stuff to go to court. Now, is that a perfect solution? No. Probably someone will be able to poke holes in that, because like when people offer solutions, everyone has ideas on how to improve them. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing, because that's how ideas are developed and progressed into real life products and stuff. So that is basically what I imagine would happen, like to mitigate this kind of issue. Not that it won't ever be an issue. It likely will be an issue at some point. It has to be, right? Because of course there are numerous issues that can arise in building your own smart contracts. But yeah, so whether or not you have like a lawyer build out a contract or anything, there'd probably be some kind of accept the terms of this contract type signature when you ever enter a contract with anyone. And I don't think that random people will just start developing loads of crazy peer-to-peer contracts that will be then used, you know. And I think realistically it'll be easier if there would be some kind of form generation that could then automatically deploy a smart contract, although that becomes very complicated to actually create the app for IOG or me. Not that I would create it, but you know, anyone who might be developing that app. It then becomes very complicated because you need to have the right questions and the right answers and the right form to fill in to actually submit the right information to build the contract in the first place. And there's no guarantee that it will really operate how you want based on a couple of questions that you answer. Although I might be wrong, you know, it's hard to tell. So what else have we got? Why are you obstructing half a face? Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. So this first smart contract video is terrible, so I apologize for that. Magic. I knew a guy called Magic, absolute legend, so I'm sure you're pretty cool too. And like you say up here, I think it is Lisp enthusiasts. Yeah, I'm not much of a developer, so... But I've heard Lisp, so I imagine that has something to do with the smart contracts. Another thing, guys, don't trust scams. Like, if someone says stuff like this, I get these in a lot of my comments now. I just report them when I get through to see it. But the truth is, I'm busy, just like most people are busy. And so it's really important for you to use a bit of common sense. If someone's telling you that they've got the secret, then they probably don't. They're probably in it for themselves. Would this work for NFTs, or would that be different? So Jackson, yeah, it would be different for NFTs because Marlowe wouldn't really work for NFTs particularly. Nice wallpaper. Okay, so another thing, right? My old Mac, which screen lives down there now because I don't use it anymore. I had this wallpaper from when I was like in uni, and it was like front was like a magazine, and so I had this wallpaper, and it basically lived on my desktop for like 10 years, I guess. So everyone loves poking a little hole in that. And yeah, cool. I get that. You know, it was funny. So sorry. Apologies for my original desktop image. You can go check it out if you don't know what I'm on about. It's not that exciting anyway. Right. So what else is going on? Lots of problems. Lots of problems. Blah 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 blah. That is a scam. Cheers, mate. See you later. Right, so okay, cool. So NewNet. So there is actually some news with NewNet. So NewNet, I did this video and I put it on this channel just because I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. And it's about it's signing up and like setting up the servers for the NewNet private alpha. Now NewNet is a spin-off of SingularityNet, has nothing to do with ADA or Cardano, sorry, only that it is going to be cross-compatible with the Cardano blockchain. They're going to be releasing a third of their tokens on the Cardano blockchain. So I guess it does have something to do. And just quickly, I'm going to just check this before I start going off on a tangent. How do I get comments up? Do you guys know that? I don't. Let's go down here. Okay. How are you going to... Oh, I'm literally talking about that now. So I am going to participate in the NTX, which is the NewNet's token, the NTX ICO. And I don't think ICO is the right word. The thing is, everyone has their own abbreviations, but they're basically launching their tokens. So it's the token launch. And it's going to be happening on the Singularity DAO platform. And Marcelo who's the CEO of the Singularity DAO project, which is another spin-off of AGI, like SingularityNet. You should definitely check this out. It's basically a DeFi platform. And I spoke to Marcelo at the Cardano Summit, met him in London, and he was saying about the launch pad coming out very, very soon. And what he was basically hinting at with me is the NewNet launch. So Singularity DAO are offering a launch pad for tokens. They're going to be launching, as far as I'm aware, they're going to be launching all the next set of SingularityNet spin-off projects. So that's Rejuve, Mindplex, Sophia DAO probably, and NewNet. And NewNet's going to be the first one. And there might be others. I need to kind of check Telegram for that because I have no idea. But yeah, so I am going to be participating in that. If you're interested in participating, they just launched the info today, and basically it's going to be on the Singularity DAO platform. You have to do KYC. You can't participate if you're in the US or in China because the laws just prevent you from doing so. And there's a bunch of other countries as well. Go and check it out. It's on the NewNet Telegram or the NewNet. What's the blog platform called? Medium. There you go. So basically, yeah, this is the thing, NewNet. And what NewNet is decentralized computer network, basically. So imagine the internet for imagine like all the miners or like the STOIC Pool distribution, but for computational power. So not just hashing, like solving problems to mint blocks, but more like providing computer power. So like RAM, CPU space, GPUs, or whatever's needed, because it's hard to imagine, to enable AI services to run in a decentralized manner. Okay, and that's basically what NewNet is. And the idea of NewNet is that you can offer up your computer to be used by AI algorithms as a way of processing information or responding to requests or anything that might be needed, and you'll essentially get paid for that. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it. We took part in the private alpha, and that's what that NewNet video is about. So if we go back here, this is what the NewNet's about, and that's what it is. I'm going to give that a little. So that's what it is. Basically, decentralized computation, like computer power. The idea is to have it on your Linux, basically, at the minute for the private alpha. When it goes to public alpha, they might open that up. They've just released potential for it to go on a Raspberry Pi. I have no more Raspberry Pis here because they're all used on the node now. But so it was also opened up now for Raspberry Pis. So if you've got a Raspberry Pi sitting around, you could run Ubuntu on it and then basically use that as a jumping off point for launching the NewNet Alpha. And you can go and check that out. Like that's kind of cool. There's nothing particularly special about NewNet Alpha, particularly in the alpha. There's not really a lot you can get on with. So all you're doing is offering up your stuff. And I'm trying to find if I've got the dashboard, and I don't think I do. Nope, that's just the dev exchange. Yeah, so sorry guys, I don't really have. What's this? That's pool perks. Yeah, I don't have it. Sorry. Developers, no. Oh, that's such a shame. Basically, it's not that exciting. So the NewNet Alpha is being used for a plugin that you can get, like a Chrome extension, which is about identifying fake news. So it might be cool to check that out. I can't really remember what it is, and it would take me ages to go and find it, and it wouldn't be particularly exciting. But yeah, that's it. Basically, NewNet, decentralized computers. You can offer up your computers to help run AI algorithms and like do AI things, whatever AI things you might be interested in. So that's how it works. They're having a token launch. It starts, I think you can register for your KYC on the 28th of October, which is, it's like 2 days, isn't it? I actually think it's 2 days. And there you go. So you can do that. And so, what else? What else do we have? Did everything shown here? Unfortunately, it says you're a naughty boy. System failed due to progress deadline. I can't really help you with that. Sorry, mate. Basically, what's probably happened is you either don't have access, like internet access, or it failed to trigger. What happens generally is one of two of the programs run, and after about half hour, the other one starts ticking over. I don't know why that happens, like because I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's something like that. What else do we have? Oh, okay, cool. So that's comment stuff done. Like that's how the smart contracts will interact. Or people, I get asked all the time about how the observations work, and that's basically what it's going to be. It's going to be a mobile app, Marlow, and you're going to be able to create smart contracts potentially, or use the dApp store to find smart contracts that you want to use. And then you basically sign up with your mates, you put your money in a pool, and it sits in the contract or in your wallet until the contract runs its course, and then things will be distributed accordingly. Wow, I do talk a lot. So that's it. That's it for those. With the pool perks. Pool perks is awesome. I only started talking about. I only mentioned pool perks because I saw something about NFTs. Pool perks is really cool. Big shout out to Andrew for putting that together. So what pool perks is? This is going to be my admin. Pool perks is basically, let's just go poolperks.io. So I did like a whole series on this recently, and pool perks is a tool created by Andrew for, here you go, stake Cardano, receive perks. And what that means is certain stake pools choose to participate in this program, not program, but like in this project. And what happens is if you're staking to that pool, then you can go on here and you can get an NFT from the pool as a reward. So if we go down here, STOIC Lives, and these ones are the ones that I did for the NFT video like series, and they're just for our 100th block. And I created these NFTs. Check out the videos if you want. I kind of went through the whole process. I explained the design of them, picking different colors. I walked through the process of uploading these, and the other thing, which is purchasing them and how that works, and showing them in your ROI. And someone actually, and yeah, so that's that. That's what pool perks is. Really, really cool. Big shout out to Andrew for putting that together. If you're interested, someone asked me the other day, what did they ask me about? They asked me about native assets in Yoroi. So this is my shareable Yoroi. And these are assets. So if you can hold NFTs and assets, you are allowed to have them in Yoroi. But they don't show. You see that? They don't actually show what they are, which is a bit of a shame. Because it would be nice if they did, if you could actually view them. But you can just easily go on that and you can search that wallet in like Pool PM or whatever the other one is. That's basically the only one I use nowadays. And like ADA pools and stuff, but for other reasons, obviously. And you can check out all the assets that you have. You can also send stuff in Yoroi. So I've got some WMT in there because I missed out on the staking. And I missed out on the staking because I was building the Pi pool, by the way, guys. And yeah, so I could send that. I could send some piggy tokens. I could send a HOSC as like a payment for something, or just to one of you guys, like if I wanted. That's an option, and you can do all that in Yoroi. Is this really live? Yes, it is really live. Sorry. I'm not particularly responsive in communicating with people, just because I didn't expect anyone to be here. I kind of just did this as a whim for a bit of fun. And I was just kind of checking out that it worked all right with the camera and stuff. I'm not playing this. Just so, who's that sexy guy there? Yeah, so basically that's what that is. You can check out assets. Now let's talk about the pies. So I've got this, I basically, the other week, or this weekend and last weekend, because I had a problem, I built the STOIC Pool out of Raspberry Pis. If you don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, it's a tiny, tiny single board computer. It's about this big, size of your phone. Actually, it's more like this big, to be honest with you. It's a bit wider and slightly more square than iPhones, you know. And basically, this was what I was thinking I'm going to need to put my Raspberry Pi together, which... Do you guys use this? This bit of software is called Obsidian, and it's an awesome bit of software, except for this weird margin thing that it does. It's fantastic. I love Obsidian, and I don't have a lot in this because I basically haven't had this computer very long, haven't been using it very long, so I don't have a lot in here. But on my laptop, Obsidian is busy. It is fantastic. It's like a markdown note-taking thing, but it has like a visualizer, so you can like visualize all your notes and stuff and like see where things connect, and you can link the thing. It's cool. It's pretty cool. I've got all my Haskell stuff here that I've been learning. I've got the STOIC stuff. I've got just Linux stuff about learning things, different stuff about other things. Like it's cool. Honestly, if you're looking for something, like I've used a bunch of different software, and for years I just used Google Docs. In fact, I still do for a lot of stuff. But yeah, honestly, check out Obsidian. It's super lightweight. Everything runs in like .txt files, and it's all Markdown compatible. So if I go back here and I click, what's this one? Preview. Then it puts it into like an actual format, so you can use this for like basically organizing your notes better. And I've just got a very simple layout. Oh, there's a little fly there of how stuff does. And like, you know, I don't know if you guys know what Markdown particularly, but anyway, it's cool. Very cool. So I'm such a nerd sometimes. But anyway, so I was basically trying to figure out what I could do, because I wanted to water cool the Raspberry Pis, because I know that the pool runs 100% all the time, like 24/7. I've been ragging out cloud servers running these Cardano nodes for the STOIC Pool, and I know they get abused. So I needed to make sure that the Raspberry Pis weren't going to burn, like set on fire, because it's running off solar power, and it's around my parents' house because they're the ones with the solar panels. I live in a flat in London, don't have solar panels. So yeah, so I in the back of my head, I was like, oh my God, what if I get a call from my mum one day going, oh, Reese, the house is on fire, thank you, you know? So I wanted to water cool it, and I checked on YouTube. Like, if you actually YouTube water cooled Raspberry Pis, there is nothing. There's like 3 people who have done it. I don't know, and most people just think it's stupid. Raspberry Pi. So look, here you go. These are the projects that people have done water cooling. So this is like one guy. He's just done a couple. He water cooled a single Raspberry Pi, which is completely pointless. He water cooled a pack of 8 Raspberry Pis. I was like, oh, if he can do that, then that is pretty awesome. He runs them as a cluster. It doesn't work for Cardano nodes. I asked the Armada guys before I started it. And then there's this guy, Rasim. He water cools like a bunch of pies. It's like a thing that he does. And what else do we have? There he is again. That's not water cooled. That's the other thing. This isn't even... This is a whole totally different... These are just like collection videos of different people who have Raspberry Pi. So basically there are 2 guys who have done water cooled Raspberry Pis before. So I thought, oh, this is going to be... This is possible for a start. And it'll be a pretty cool project because no one really does it. So I thought, right, screw it, let's do it. So I basically didn't know, you know when you don't know what you don't know? So the scope of works I couldn't really understand. So like I had some RGB fans. I didn't have a pump or a reservoir. I didn't have any water cooling stuff. I basically researched it for ages, what I needed. And I thought about this for like a good 2 weeks, which is a long time for me before I start doing things. And what happened was I just built it and it was kind of all right. It kind of worked. I had a couple of problems. So I'm going to go back on here just so if people have questions, then they can actually ask and I can pay attention. because I have this thing where I get proper ADHD and I just talk about loads of stuff. Jack, what's going on? Good to hear from you, mate. James Roop, I don't know you, mate, but we can be mates. It's okay. Everyone chatting, well done. Thank you for joining, guys. If you have any questions, just chuck them in the box. I'll check intermittently and I'll answer any questions you have. But this Raspberry Pi build, so I don't have a picture of it on my computer, but I did post one to Twitter, so I can show you what it looks like before I release the full like build video, basically. And it'll be down here somewhere. So this is what my Raspberry Pi build looks like, and it's overkill for just water cooling. Like, I definitely could have done it cheaper by not going all out RGB, like top of the line kit. Basically, I could have just picked any old radiator, I could have picked any old fans and any old pump, but I thought I wanted, if I was going to have it all running, I had a whole separate Raspberry Pi down in the bottom left corner there. So I've got 4 Pis. 3 are nodes, one's a block reducer, 2 are relays, and then I have the 4th Pi in the bottom corner. It's the one without the SSDs. So that one in the bottom left corner without an SSD, it's the controller. So it will control the pumps, it can control the fan speed, it'll monitor the temperatures, it'll basically do the reporting, and that's the idea of the build. And I was currently leak testing because, spoiler alert here, guys, when we built the nodes, the hosing leaked. We had a leak. I think that's like inevitable with water cooling. Like, you're gonna have a leak. If you haven't experienced a leak, then you're very good at plumbing, I guess. But because these things, they don't have like compression fittings all over them like regular big boy hosing does, which you can see up in the top there. So it's inevitable that it kind of leaks, and we had to figure out how to which of these crazy little nipply things to use, so that we could control the flow and get what was happening is that inside one, you can't see. I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see. So where this it kind of comes out from the pump, there's a little splitter where the little hose comes off and goes down to the first Raspberry Pi. And that first attachment that it's in, initially it was one closer to the edge of the computer because it would look better aesthetically. Like, you look at it from the front, it's coming off the front one, and it kind of hides that there are thousands of other weird little nipple offshooty things. So that's what we did, but it was leaking by there because that was where all the pressure was going. So it's bouncing off that first nipple and then coming into the next one. So I had to switch them, and we're currently leak testing when I took this photo just to make sure that it didn't explode or basically leak everywhere. But yeah, the build went really well. It took 2 weekends, and really it took 2 days, but it took 2 whole weekends because I was building it down where my parents live and not in my flat in London, obviously. And the reason it took longer than just 1 day was because I had like an all-in-one CPU cooling unit, and you see up the top the fans and the radiator here don't match. And that's because the fans come from the all-in-one heating unit, is like a white one, but the radiator, the connection to the radiators aren't removable. So I couldn't actually take it out, which meant I couldn't then turn it into a custom loop. I had to just buy a new radiator. So it was really lucky I kind of had one, really, because otherwise that could have cost a lot. Cardano mint. Oh, right, okay. Well, nice one, James. Nice to meet you. What are the temperatures like? So the temperatures, the idea was for the temperatures basically to run around 25 to 30 degrees cooler than what the Raspberry Pi generally does. Yeah, and what will happen? Thanks. So this James I do know. Cardano mint, maximum mint. So nice to see you, James. So basically it runs about 25 to 30 degrees cooler depending. And the reason that I thought this was going to be so important was because I can't zoom in on this. I can a little bit. And then Twitter just resets the image. Thank you, guys. Open image in a new tab. So now can we zoom? So there's only a couple of these. The actual processor chips are water cooled, and that's because they're the ones that run super hot. And generally on a Pi, they'll run like 75 degrees ish. when they're being abused. And these pies with the node will be overclocked. So that means whatever they're supposed to run at, we're going to just send so much more juice there that it just runs on overdrive, basically. Imagine giving your computer a 6-pack of energy drinks and then rolling it down a hill. That's what you're doing to the Raspberry Pis. So you're definitely ragging them out. So water cooling them will keep them at that lower temperature, meaning that it will be able to just last longer, essentially. It's not going to make it perform better. Well, I mean, it could potentially make it perform slightly better because it won't be overheating. But it's to basically prevent it from crashing just because it is being abused so much. And the problem with this is you can only water cool certain chips. So like the CPU ones I can cool, but I've got heat sinks on the rest of them because I can't really, there's nothing small enough to water cool it. These NAND gates on the SSDs, like the big copper heat sinks on the SSDs, they're supposed to run at like 40 degrees anyway. So water cooling them would basically keep them too cool and it would mess it up. So I've just put heat sinks on them and then they'll get cooled by the big crazy fans. Now, that's basically the thought process of it. If I'm going to be abusing these things, I need them to last a little bit longer than they would otherwise. And so that's why I decided to do the water cooling. It becomes a kind of fun little project because no one's really done it. And it's like a custom build. Like I've got this Lian Li case. I've got these Corsair fans and like the typical kind of Corsair Hydro thing set up. IQ, that's what it is, the Hydro X IQ. But like to actually sit the Raspberry Pis in this case, I had to put them on a board. Like I had to get a bit of plastic cut basically to an ATX motherboard size. And then I spent about 2 hours with my mate trying to figure out the best layout to keep everything organized without having everything crossing over and have it looking relatively like it's supposed to be in that situation. You know, I wanted to kind of be symmetrical and aesthetically pleasing, or as close to as I can. Now, obviously, that isn't. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Very nice to know SSDs. Yeah, they do. They actually do get super hot, those SSDs. And I had them. So I had the SSDs in like these little heat sink, because that's what I've taken them out of basically. And I just, when I was setting up one of the nodes, the SSD was getting really, really hot just sitting in the heatsink case. And it's like a portable SSD case. These things are pretty cool. I didn't even realize they were things. Portable NVMe SSD. I don't know if it's going to pull up the right thing. Hopefully it does. Basically, they sit in like little metal heatsink things like this. There you go. So what I was doing when I was buying these is I was looking for ones that were removable. Oh my god. Guys, sorry about this. So like this was the one I went with. Oh look, it's on offer now. Typical, right? You pay full price and then you get it on a discount a week later. So this was the one I got. And the reason I got this is because it shows that it's removable. And when I had them just sat in the heatsink, these things got super hot, like really hot, like Raspberry Pi hot, you know, like you don't want to touch it because you're worried not from electric shock, but from actually scalding or burning your finger. And so having them on these little PCB like slide outy things meant I could remove them, so I could set them up separately. And I've got them on little stilts. So all of these things are on little standoffs, like the Pis are on standoffs. You can see the little screws here, but you can't see where the SSD standoffs are. They're underneath. So where the NVMe drives, like kind of you plug them in and then they flap down and then you screw them in at the back, which is what this like little copper ring thing is at the back. Basically underneath there in the screw holes for smaller SSD cards is where I have the standoffs. So they're on little stilts in the middle like this, and the SSD card kind of lays across. And I think that's quite important to actually do that, especially with the SSDs, because they're gonna get hot both sides. Like you've got chips on both sides of that PCB, so it's designed to be floating wherever it is. And yeah, I didn't really want them to be touching the acrylic. Not because I was worried about it melting or anything, but just it's not going to help dissipate the heat. And having them stood off means the fans can blow air up them, and hopefully that'll help cool them a little bit. Getting hold of these heat sinks was a nightmare, by the way, guys. You know how awkward it is to get tiny little heat sinks? It's very, very difficult. Sublayer, what's going on, mate? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. It's nice to have a couple of people in. I know it's never going to be that busy on a live stream. I didn't let anyone know about these things, by the way, guys. I just kind of started. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I'll be honest. I have got a video of it running, but I'm not going to show you because you're all going to judge me. Because I was doing it as a test run to make sure that the fans and the pumps and the pies all turned on together out of one source. And what that means is all of the Corsair stuff is on default RGB marshmallow rainbow setting. You know when you turn anything on that's RGB and it's like it just does a full spectrum cycle. So everything is absolutely insane and it's really embarrassing. And I know you're all going to judge me and you're going to give me a load of mess basically for not having it set to a certain color. So when you actually see this on the video, when I publish the video of the full build, everything's just going to be white. It's going to look much better. It'll look like my computer, which I have now, which you might be able to hear humming away in the background. But that's basically this is basically like a scaled down version of my actual computer, with pies instead of a normal kind of computer setup. But that's it. That's how the build went. That's what it looks like. It's got like glass panels, nothing particularly exciting. It runs entirely off solar. I've got, including the pumps and the fans and the network switch, everything is running off one plug. I've got it all plugged in together and I have a meter so that I can monitor it as well. And when we first plugged it in and I set it all up, I obviously checked what the power consumption was and it was running on 0.338 amps, which is nothing. 0.338 amps. I am afraid of fire, yeah. I am afraid of fire. It's not at my house, so I can't like keep eyes on it. And yeah, you can set up monitoring and like check that on your phone or on your computer at home, but oh my god, I don't want my mum to give me any I don't want to have to pay. I don't want them not to be able to claim insurance because there's a fire on the house, you know. And yeah, anyway, I love the Frankenstein tubes. So okay, so seeing as Eamon asked, I don't have the exact numbers yet because I'm afraid to look, but it cost around maybe about £1,200, which means it would probably have cost about the same in dollars, because when people sell stuff in the UK, they use the dollar amount and just charge that in pounds. So it must be really lucrative to sell stuff in the UK because it's I think a dollar's like 0.73p or something like that. So yeah, it cost about $1,200, which seems like a lot, especially for Raspberry Pis. I bought 3 Raspberry Pis. I already had one. It cost me about £200 for the 3 Raspberry Pis, and that it's nothing, you know. It's like a quarter or a third of the cost, and I don't really care about that, you know. It's a fun project. I don't mind spending the money because crypto's good at the minute, so it's worth investing in it now and getting away from all the cloud servers. And I was kind of already away from the cloud servers because I had stuff running on VMs anyway. But what was happening is the computer that I was running the VMs on were using much more power than 0.33 amps. So I decided to go for the Raspberry Pis. The Pis, what are the Pis for? The Pis are the Cardano node. That is STOIC Pool, literally. Oh, that's not it. So the Pis are actually STOIC Pool. How have I got so many YouTube windows? Oh my god. I need to practice this, guys. This is what STOIC Pool is right now. Yeah, so that's it. Do you know any Stoics? This one's Marcus, this one's Seneca, this one's Zeno. And this one's the Monitor, so I don't really know if he should even be a Stoic, but yeah, so that's what that is. That's what the Pis are for. That is STOIC Pool. So yeah, guys, I mean that's it. That's really it. I just wanted to talk about that. I've got a Catalyst project coming up. As soon as we're able to submit proposals for Fund 7, I'm on it. I've got some wireframing done. I've got a full concept. I've got some connections within the industry that I'm looking at to be able to help push this through. I've got a team of devs, or a small team of devs, who are helping me kind of figure all the ins and outs out. And because I've been going through Plutus Pioneers, I've been learning Haskell, but I've not been learning Haskell so that I can build smart contracts. I've been learning about it so that I understand the build and the way that smart contracts can work and the way that Plutus works and Marlow works, so that I can kind of be dangerous in the industry, you know, and not dangerous in as an expression, you know, so I understand enough so that I can communicate with people about stuff, and I understand what the kind of work is and what it would take to be able to achieve certain things. I wouldn't trust myself to build things all myself. I'm all right with the design part. I'm all right with the visualizing and the rationalizing the products and that kind of thing. But I'm not ready to start building stuff by myself, basically. So I prefer to do a Catalyst project and pay people to do it who are actual professionals, you know, however much I believe in myself. Yeah, it is definitely an amazing language for blockchain, but as I said, I would much prefer to be hiring people than not being able to get the work done by myself, or just screwing it up, because that's not what the Catalyst project is about. It's not about screwing stuff up, it's about getting stuff done. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from. But yeah, the Catalyst project is going to be really cool. So when I'll do a full announcement when that comes out. I'm going to start doing more live streams as maybe little AMAs or something like that, or just to talk about certain things. I'll get other people on, you know, I'll get James Amin, you got to come on, because I've missed our little conversations, mate. He's a really nice guy. If you don't know who James is from Cardano Mint, check him out. Check out his YouTube channel. Really cool guy. But I'm hoping to get Ken on, because he hosted me a couple of times now, and he's a really nice geezer as well. Yeah, so it'd just be kind of cool. I can do AMAs whilst I work on the Catalyst project. We can talk about things like that. I also need to do some new music for STOIC Pool, because I got a copyright strike. I don't know if you probably don't keep up with the pool updates, but I got a copyright strike for music that I put together myself, which is just madness, because how has someone made the same music? They haven't. They've used the same kind of sample pack, so they have the same little melody kind of hook that's in that little hip hop tune that I have, and so I got a copyright strike, which I'm currently very, very bitter about. I'll be honest. No, I'm not. But I need to make a new bit of music, not the reggaeton stuff. That's all good, but I need a new in the background tune, little hip hoppy thing. So maybe I'll work on that one day while we're on a live stream as well. But I really want to get doing more live streams and just having more of an open conversation with people. And as a little secret, don't tell anyone about this, we're also going to be hopefully setting up some spaces soon to talk about some stuff. Oh, nice. Shoulder surgery. Oh, wicked, James. Mate, that's great. I'm glad everything's good. You can put your hand on your head like this and rub your belly, then you know you're fixed. That's sick. Yeah, we will host and work out 100%. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. We could do a fitness AMA. We could do fitness and answer questions about Cardano, or just talk about stuff. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate people just turning up, especially out of the blue. That's really cool. If you've got any questions about Cardano or anything like that, feel free to either leave comments on this video or just get at me on Twitter. It's at STOIC Pool. Shoot me a message. I'm quite responsive. I'm interested in chatting with people. If you have any questions about the Pi pools, check out the Armada Alliance. It's a whole community of stake pool operators running Cardano nodes on Raspberry Pis. I'm not anything special. There's an actual group of people who do all this stuff. I'm just kind of enjoying their work, really, and kind of working on it. So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for joining again. That's it for me. I'll catch up with you in the next one. I do outros all the time in my videos. Right, guys, that's it. That's it for this live stream. So go home. We're all done. If you like what you've seen, as always, give us a like. Leave any questions or comments you got. Subscribe for more Cardano videos and live streams, potentially, from STOIC Pool. Reach out to me wherever you like. I'll catch up with you in the next one. See you then. Right, let's turn this off. Bam.